Tonight, a close look for you at what some are now calling bombshell new allegations against the man who could possibly be the next Republican nominee for president. Welcome to the Kelly File, live in Times Square tonight, folks. I'm Megyn Kelly. A former New Jersey transportation official who once worked for Gov Christie is making new claims tonight, suggesting the governor lied about when he knew of the GW Bridge lane closures. Not about whether he was in on it, but about when he knew of the lane closures. This afternoon, details of a letter from the lawyer of now former Port Authority appointee David Wildstein appeared in the New York Times, setting off breathless headlines like this one in the Huffington Post, reading, "Christie knew about bridge lane closings." In the New York Times, quote, "Christie knew about lane closings," ex-Port Authority official says. On USA Today, quote, "Ex-aide Christie knew about lane closures on bridge." But hold on, if you read more carefully, here is exactly what the 3-page letter, which is about getting attorney's fees paid for, actually alleges. Quote, "Evidence exists as well tying Mr. Christie to having knowledge of the lane closures during the period when the lanes were closed, contrary to what the governor stated publicly at a 2-hour press conference." Now, right now, that's like just waving over you, right? It's like, what? Huh? I'm going to explain to you whether this is a deal or it's not. Tying him to having knowledge. The evidence exists tying him to having knowledge. What does that mean? He knew? Is that what you mean? Then why don't you just say he knew? It's not what the letter says. More on that in a moment. First, though, here's what Governor Christie said in his January 9th news conference.
I knew nothing about this and until it started to be reported in the papers about the closure. But even then, I was told this was a traffic study. I had no knowledge of this, of the planning, the execution, or anything about it. And then I first found out about it after it was over. And even then, what I was told was that it was a traffic study. And there was no evidence to the contrary until yesterday that was brought to my attention or anybody else's attention.
Senior correspondent Eric Shawn is live in our New York City newsroom with the very latest. Eric?
Hello, Megyn. Well, tonight, Governor Gov Christie did appear in public, but he did not talk about this new accusation. He attended Howard Stern's 60th birthday bash, and when he took the mic, all he did was introduce New Jersey's own rocker, John Bon Jovi. The governor said nothing about this new claim, that he apparently did not tell the truth about the lane closings, and he avoided questions from reporters, as you can see, as he left. Well, David Wildstein's lawyer accuses the governor of not telling the truth about when he found out about those closings. During his news conference earlier this month, the governor said in part he only learned about the whole thing after it happened.
I had no knowledge of this, of the planning, the execution, or anything about it. And then I first found out about it after it was over. And even then, what I was told was that it was a traffic study.
Well, that's not true, says Wildstein's lawyer, Alan Zagas, who claims evidence exists that contradicts the governor. But the lawyer does not say exactly what that evidence is. He also does not claim the governor knew the scheme was ordered by his now fired chief of staff, the deputy chief of staff, Bridget Ann Kelly, or that it was all supposedly part of that political payback plot to stick it to Fort Lee's Democratic mayor. While the governor's office tonight says that the lawyer actually supports the governor's claims, Christie's statement, though, does not address the central accusation that he knew of the closings at the time, as Wildstein's lawyer claims he did. And Megyn, all this is only ramping up even more. A massive material from the New Jersey Investigative Committee. Those subpoenas due on Monday. Public hearings expected to start within weeks. Back to you.
All right, Eric, thank you. Well, for more on this now, we're joined by Steve Laser. He's a former campaign fundraiser for President Obama and a Democratic consultant. And Steve Lonigan is a former New Jersey Republican candidate for governor who once ran against Governor Christie, but is now an ally of his. Let me start with you, Steve Lonigan, on this. The breathlessness, right, of this, and the way they ran to say he's caught, he lied about what he knew. What this former aide actually says through his lawyer is there is evidence tying Mr. Christie to having knowledge of the lane closures during the period when the lanes were closed, contrary to what the governor stated publicly. Your take on it?
Megan, the liberal media and the Democrats are looking for a bombshell, and what they have is a dud. They're saying that the governor knew that the lanes were closed during the time they were closed. Well, surprise, so did about 10 million other people. And when 10 million people know something, of course the governor's going to know it. He never denied that he knew the lanes were closed when they were closed. What he denied, and there is no evidence to the contrary, is that he had any knowledge of the planning or the effort to use it for retribution or whatever, which was wrong. There's no doubt about it. We never want to see abuse of power by any governor or any president, for that matter. But the governor has yet to be proven wrong. This is nothing. This is nothing but a dud of a bomb.
But wait, he did come out here. You can look at me. I appreciate it. But he did come out and say in that presser, I didn't find out about the lane closures, about this. He didn't say the lane closure. I said, I didn't find out about it until it was over. And now this aide is saying, no, he knew about it while it was going on.
Megan, it's even worse than that. I have to tell you, when you look at what he said in his January 9th press conference, he actually said that he didn't know about the lane closures and the entire thing until after Patrick Foyer's email came out on October 1st.
He's a Port Authority guy.
The Port Authority guy. That's completely non-credible. This is starting to take on the character of one of those political scandals where it becomes pretty clear that the person of interest, in this case Governor Christie, is hiding something.
Oh, person of interest.
Slowly come out, drip, 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 that discredit and disprove some of the things that he said during his big press conference.
I am looking for that in this particular allegations tonight. And just as a lawyer, when I look at the language, I don't see it. What I see is somebody saying that there's evidence tying him to having knowledge of the lane closures when the lanes were closed. Let's assume that's true, okay? Let's assume that's true. Why do we care if he knew? I mean, you tell me, Steve Lonigan.
How could he not know?
That's my question. Isn't the whole question? Did he know prior? Did he give the order?
And they're not saying he knew prior. They're clearly saying they're not. But to call him a person of interest, it's like being Belayevich's prosecutor. And this is like
let me tell you
trying to make this guy look like a criminal.
This is not the first thing that has come out that discredits the things that he said during his January 9th
down the governor's image.
Okay,
that's what you're focused on.
This is the third or fourth thing. So first of all, it came out that he has the picture on September 11th with Wildstein at the September 11th.
Because Governor Christie claimed he didn't really know Wildstein as well as others.
Right, but he went to high school with him. He appointed him to an important position in his administration that makes a lot of money. Yes, sure. Politicians do that with people that they don't know all the time. Of course,
he said he did that because his close friend who did work in his administration recommended these guys. That's no smoking gun.
There's got a picture of with you, Steve Laser. That doesn't mean I know you very well, just because of the picture of you and I together.
There are 3 or 4 things. So besides that, right? So we have the Foyer email that comes out. Christie says he didn't hear about the lane closures until then. You have the allegations with, the fact that he went to high school together, didn't know him. All of these things.
He said he knew him. Let me just clear that up. Because we are not going to indict the governor on stuff that we don't have evidence on. The governor came out at his presser and said, I knew this guy, the guy who's accusing him right now, but we weren't that tight. Right? We went to high school together. The reason I hired him is because a guy I am kind of tight with said, I want to hire him. So I said, OK. But listen, here's the thing I want to ask you, Mr. Lonergan, as a defender of Governor Christie. This guy Wildstein in his lawyer letter today comes out and says, I can prove that Christie knew about these lane closures when they were happening, contrary to what he said at his presser. Then Christie comes out, okay, but that's what he claims, because you play the soundbite from Christie's presser, and we played it for the viewers. We said, I didn't find out about it till it was over. Now, that can be interpreted to mean till the lane closures were done. That's what he seems to be suggesting, Wildstein. Christie comes out and doesn't say, I deny knowing about it while it was happening. He says, I deny knowing about it prior to the lane closures. These guys are talking past each other, which leads the viewers to think, what should they walk away with here?
Everybody's nuancing every word. Let's look at hard evidence.
Which raises the spidey senses of most people.
Yeah, Christie's folks have
let Mr.
Look, the governor has the right to be proven innocent, to be proven guilty. He's innocent. There is no hard evidence that he knew about this before it happened. He knew about it while it was taking place, but so did everybody else. So what's the big deal?
All right. Well, we shall find out whether there's a big deal. More subpoenas getting returned. The responses coming in on Monday, so we'll see. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.